been a long road towards securing justice. On the 10th of April, Tahawwur Hussain Rana, a Pakistani-Canadian terrorist who played a critical role in planning and executing the 26/11 terror attacks that killed 166 people, was extradited to India.
Significant development on Tahawwur Rana extradition, where the US Supreme Court has denied 26/11 Mumbai Terror Attack accused Tahawwur Rana's last application seeking a stay on his extradition to India. Now this step has moved him more closer being handed over to Indian authorities to face justice. In fact, the 64-year-old known to be associated with Pakistani-American terrorist David Coleman Headley, he's one of the main conspirators of 26/11 attacks. In fact, Headley is the same person who conducted recce of Mumbai before the terror attack by posing as an employee of Rana's immigration consultancy. In fact, Rana had submitted an application which is known to be an emergency application for stay pending litigation of petition for writ of habeas corpus on February 27th. In fact, now we also see that during the press conference, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in fact, President Donald Trump also stated the fact that his administration is very serious and they would be extraditing Tahawwur Rana to India.
The extradition process too has taken a long time. Rana was arrested by American authorities in 2009 and was subsequently convicted for providing material support to the Lashkar-e-Toiba and also plotting attacks in Denmark. However, in 2011, he had been acquitted over charges of involvement in the 26/11 terror attacks. The UPA government had sought his extradition from the United States. In 2018, by which time the Modi government had come to power, the NIA managed to secure a fresh warrant for Rana's arrest.
अमेरिका की शिकागो की कोर्ट में आज राणा एक टेररिस्ट को मुक्त करने का फैसला हो चुका है। इस घटना ने आतंकवाद के खिलाफ लड़ने वाली हर शक्तियों के लिए, हर सरकार के लिए एक नया सवालिया निशान खड़ा किया है। यहां के पीड़ित लोग हैं, उनको न्याय कौन दिलाएगा?
In 2020, a US court granted relief to Tahawwur Rana, paving the way for his release on compassionate grounds during the COVID-19 pandemic. But this was strongly opposed by both India and the US Department of Justice.
First of all, I have nothing but praise for the Indian authorities, the Indian government, for not giving up, for chasing the terrorists 17 years, more than 17 years down the line, and for bringing them to justice. I think it sends a strong message to terrorists anywhere that we will never give up, that India will never give up. You attack, you will be held responsible for the attack. And I think that today is in many ways a historic or a momentous occasion in the fact that people are being brought to trial and being extradited to India for the crimes that they committed even 17, 18 years ago.
The extradition efforts received a renewed thrust then, and as Rana appealed against his extradition in each American court, even claiming that US law did not permit double jeopardy, these arguments were countered by both the NIA and the US Department of Justice. His appeals to the District Court and the US Supreme Court all failed. On the 10th of April, he landed at Palam Airport in Delhi and was taken to court following a medical examination wherein he was remanded to an 18-day custody.
This is the vehicle. Here is where Tahawwur Rana. This is the vehicle in which Tahawwur Rana is right now sitting. This is the Nyaik Abhiraksha Vahini. This is the vehicle in which Tahawwur Rana is sitting. Let me give you the close-up view of this vehicle. This is the Vahini vehicle, in which the jail vehicle, in which Tahawwur Rana is sitting. And you can see the Delhi police has caught him. It's about 10 to 12 vehicle. Rightly said by my colleague Mohit that green corridor was not provided. But yes, the cops had been deployed at different places trying to ensure security to this. And there is also an ambulance because he's a high-profile ISI asset who had been there to bleed India 1,000 card. And right now you can see, let me again show you, that vehicle, jail vehicle with the blinker moving towards before the court, where NI is going to seek custody for this man, and finally the investigation will start. And now onwards, it's going to be difficult for Pakistan, because how long Pakistan will keep on denying that they have no role in 26/11 attack, because India had been presenting them dossier after dossier, but every time they had been either trying to deflect or either trying to put blame on the non-state actors, saying as if they were not involved. But everybody knows that Pakistan had been involved. Pakistan was completely rattled. Short while back, there was a statement from the spokesperson of Minister of Foreign Affairs also. He said that he has not renewed his document. Basically, they were trying to distance themselves from this man, Tahawwur Rana, trying to convey that he was basically a Canadian citizen. But the question arises, if he is a Canadian citizen, then why he was coming out with an excuse that he is a Pakistani Muslim, he will be tortured in Indian jail. So that means whatever suits them, they will always come out with that argument and excuse. And here, let me again show you. Look at this vehicle. This is the vehicle in which finally, this is the treatment he really was required, because he was not suited, booted travel agent, but he was here.
This was a hugely significant moment. After all, one of the perpetrators of the 26/11 attacks was being brought to book. Rana was a close associate of the other terrorist and planner of the attacks, David Coleman Headley. Headley had conducted a thorough recce of all the locations and more that had been targeted during 26/11. Headley had struck a plea bargain with American authorities to serve a jail sentence in the United States and thereby prevent an extradition to India, though he was interrogated by the National Investigation Agency as well. Headley was radicalized in Pakistan and joined the Lashkar-e-Toiba, even undergoing training at Muridke, the headquarters of the terror organization. He was known to and had met Hafiz Saeed, the orchestrator of the Mumbai attacks and the chief of the Lashkar-e-Toiba. Rana had made life easy for Headley. He had helped Headley secure a business visa for India, helped him set up an immigration firm in Mumbai, which acted as a front for Headley's nefarious activities that included preparing for the eventual attack on Mumbai. Rana himself had visited Mumbai almost 5 days before the attacks took place. In fact, after the attack had concluded, Rana had praised the attackers and said that they deserved Pakistan's highest gallantry award. In fact, as the NIA charge sheet as well as the American court records show, Rana did not stop at 26/11 but went on to plot attacks in Denmark as well with Headley's collusion. On his return to India, we spoke to the survivors of the 26/11 attacks.
9:49 49 पे मालूम पड़ा कि हुसैन सागर प्लेटफॉर्म छोड़ रही थी. तभी 9:50 को छूटती थी, प्लेटफॉर्म छोड़ रही थी. तभी मालूम पड़ा. मैं इंडिया और इंग्लैंड का मैच था, मेरे को पता भी नहीं था. आतंकवादी टीवी वगैरह में देखा, मूवी वगैरह में देखता, आतंकवादी ऐसा होता है. न तो वो कपड़ा डाला था, न तो कुछ डाला, बेखौफ गोली चला था, ज्यादा करके ऊपर चला रहा था. जब मेरे को गाली दिया पंजाबी लैंग्वेज में, तब मेरे को पता चला कि आतंकवादी है, कमांडो नहीं है. आज अमेरिका का सरकार को मैं शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ, धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ ट्रम्प जी को, जो इतने बड़े मास्टरमाइंड को इंडिया भेज रहे. लेकिन मैं कुछ सरकार से विनती करना चाहता हूँ, माननीय कोर्ट उच्च न्यायालय से विनती करना चाहता हूँ, राष्ट्रपति से विनती करना चाहता हूँ कि आतंकवादी के लिए कुछ चेंजिंग होना चाहिए, कि वो देश का मेहमान नहीं है कि उसको अच्छा सा खातिरदारी हो. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 2 से 3 महीना में उसको सजा सुना दिया जाए, खेल खत्म करें.
जिस टाइम पे मैंने कामा हॉस्पिटल में, मेरी वाइफ प्रेग्नेंट थी, हम लोग कामा हॉस्पिटल में जाने के बाद, टैक्सी मार के जाने के बाद प्रेग्नेंट के वो दूसरा माले पे ले गया मेरी वाइफ को और डिलीवरी होना था. इसने मैं मेडिकल जो बॉम्बे हॉस्पिटल जाके मेरे को दवाई लाने का था, मेडिसिन. तो डॉक्टर ने बोला ये मेडिसिन लेके आना. मैं जा रहा था, वो सीढ़ी से उतर के कूद के जा रहा था. इतने में फटकड़ा बज रहा था. मैंने क्या सोचा था, उस दिन इंडिया इंग्लैंड का मैच था, तो इंडिया जीत गई होगी, उसके लिए फटकड़ा बज रहा था. आतंकवादी तो सोचा नहीं था कोई न कोई मारा जा रहा है. उसके लिए मैं भाग के रिटर्न गया. वो मैडम को और डॉक्टर लोग को सबको ऊपर लेके गया. पहला डिलीवरी कराओ मेरा वाइफ को, उसके बाद हम देखेंगे. फिर सब दरवाज़ा लगाने के लिए बोला, सब दवाखाने में, और मेरा वाइफ डॉक्टर को, सिस्टर को सब लेके जाके अंदर रखा मैंने.
We also spoke to K. Unnikrishnan, the father of Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan, who had laid down his life during the 26/11 attacks, fighting the terrorists at the Taj.
Many thanks for speaking to Times Now today, Mr. Unnikrishnan. The entire nation remembers your son's sacrifice. Tahawwur Rana, the terrorist, has been brought back to India. How significant do you think this is?
Yeah, it's a really a good diplomatic effort, successful.
But Rana will now be questioned and there will be a trial. What are your expectations? People are wondering if it should be a fast trial. You've lost a son in the line of duty. What do you want?
No, as a citizen of India, I was expecting anything from the second day itself should happen, but there are restrictions, there are legal formalities to be completed, and he was not in our custody. So I think even after delay, we have achieved something, and we hope that some kind of more evidences, it will definitely come off.
Do you believe this will take the investigation and the links to Hafiz Saeed, who's still holed up in Pakistan? Do you think justice will be done?
I don't think so. See, maybe another one person, Coleman, David Coleman Headley. He may be. We may be able to access people from other countries, but the real conspirators, they are protected and supported by their handlers. So I'm sure that definitely it may not be possible, at least in the near future, provided there will be a change of mindset or way of functioning of the government of Pakistan. That may not be feasible in the near future anyway. So leave alone the conspirators, but I don't know. See, the public mind itself may be against us. So how do you see that? The real conspirators protected by them will be expedited, or I don't think so. Maybe maximum David Coleman Headley, he may be the last point.
Absolutely, absolutely, you're right. But in 2008, there was no military retaliation after the Mumbai terror attacks. But after Uri and Pulwama, you did see this government responding with the surgical strikes, with the Balakot strikes. Do you think a military strike should have been done then?
Naturally, when you get beatings, you will rise to the occasion. That is what is happening, and then it has not been this thing like that. And then now we have proved that it is possible from our part to do, even though not on a large-scale war, the real war or something like that, we will be able to do something, some harm to them. And after that, but see, my only request, or I can say my only wish is that, in between this kind of diplomacy, you should not go for peace talks, the so-called peace talks which has been happening in the previous regime. So that was not a thing like that. It was not practicable. So they don't deserve that. So we cannot say that, while engaging them in the battlefield, you go for peace talks. I don't think it is feasible. That should not happen. That's my wish.
Trump in February this year, the latter spoke to the press about the extradition.
Today, I'm pleased to announce that my administration has approved the extradition of one of the plotters and one of the very evil people of the world, and having to do with the horrific 2008 Mumbai terrorist attack, to face justice in India. So he's going to be going back to India to face justice.
And now, upon Rana's arrival in India, there's a credit war that has broken out between the opposition and the NDA.
देखिए, वो एक प्रक्रिया है वो कि सरकार पैरवी करती है किसी मामले की, और जब आतंक की घटना में कोई आतंकवादी इन्वॉल्व था जिसके प्रत्यर्पण के लिए सरकार द्वारा कदम उठाए गए, तो देश की जो सरकारें होती हैं वो हमेशा देश के लिए काम करती हैं, देश के लिए नीतियां बनाती हैं। वो गैर भाजपाई सरकार हो या भाजपा की सरकार रही हो, तो समाजवादी पार्टी समझती है विषय कोई भी बहस का ये नहीं है। देश के खिलाफ आतंकी गतिविधियों में जो व्यक्ति संलिप्त रहा हो वो वापस आया है। समाजवादी पार्टी समझती है कि देश की न्यायपालिका उसे कठोर से कठोर सजा देगी।
तहव्वुर राणा का भारत आना न केवल भारतवासियों के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है, बल्कि एक बेहद खुशी का, एक बहुत बेहद गर्व का और बहुत बेहद सुकून का पल है। ये केवल उपलब्धि नहीं, ये माँ भारती के जख्मों पर मरहम है। ये केवल उपलब्धि नहीं, 26/11 के उन शहीदों को एक श्रद्धांजलि है। 26/11 जैसे कायराना आतंकी हमले के मास्टरमाइंड को भारत लेकर के आना, ये केवल और केवल नरेंद्र मोदी जैसे मजबूत नेतृत्व में ही मुमकिन हो सकता है।
The extradition has been an intensive effort spanning governments, but what is undeniable is that there is a marked difference in approach between the UPA and the NDA governments in their response to a terror strike against India.
I have already welcomed the extradition of Rana. This process began in 2009 and then in 2011 it gathered pace after the US intelligence identified Rana. It's taken a long time, nearly 13, 14 years to actually extradite him to India. I compliment the External Affairs Ministry and the intelligence agencies and the NIA for successfully bringing Rana back to India after a long and arduous battle. There are many, many players who are involved in this. I remember in our time in the UPA, Minister Salman Khurshid and the Foreign Secretary Ranjan Mathai played an important role. And I'm sure in the present Modi government also, several foreign secretaries and several foreign ministers have played a role. I congratulate all the actors in this long saga.
In 2008, after the attacks, India chose not to target Pakistan militarily. But in 2016, in the aftermath of the Uri attacks in Jammu and Kashmir, the NDA government responded with surgical strikes across the line of control in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And in 2019, India conducted the Balakot airstrikes in response to the ghastly Pulwama terror attack. Air Chief Marshal Fali Homi Major, now retired, who was the Air Force Chief in 2008, told Times Now's Group Editor-in-Chief Navika Kumar that the Air Force was prepared for a response then, but the orders never came.
Tahawwur Rana landing in India, in Indian custody today. What does this mean in terms of a breakthrough in the investigations and taking forward the attack of 26/11 and the retribution that the country has been expecting following that terror attack?
It's fantastic news that the government today has finally got this guy through the extradition from the United States, and I'm quite sure that a lot of unknown aspects of the drastic 26/11 attack will come out once he's put through the interrogation, and I'm quite sure that he's going to sing along very well for us to know what happened. But I'm disappointed about one thing, that it's a little too late. Because if we had hit those guys then, probably this guy would have been history by now.
Well said. Chief, you had said this earlier as well, that you were ready, the Indian Air Force was ready, and the strike should have happened at that time. Can you take our viewers through what was the situation? Did you make a presentation to the then political leadership, and what was their response?
Soon after this attack, that our preparations had started, that this is a terrible, terrible attack. We've lost, I think, almost about 170 people. And I'm sure that the government would ask us to take some kind of action. At that stage, we didn't know whether it would be the Air Force, Army, or whoever, but we were quite sure, and as Air Force men, we prepared our own alternatives.
And then,
now coming to your question, yes, I think it was the third or fourth day after the attack that we were called into the Prime Minister's office, the three chiefs, and of course many others who were related, who were involved in this. And we were asked as to what kind of options we have to launch a retaliatory strike, a precision strike. And we gave out our options that we will be ready to undertake the strike if asked in the next 18 to 24 hours. That's it.
what were you told when you offered that within 18 to 24 hours you would be ready? Was there a response from the other side?
No.
Nothing at all?
There was no response. And in such matters, whenever you put forward an option or a proposal, our mandate ends there. And then it is left to them to let us know. And once this was done, when we went back, we kept those plans active. Actually, we did it very quietly on a totally need-to-know basis, and only the people and forces which were involved would get involved in this operation were informed. But we maintained this readiness for quite a long period.
How long?
I think almost about 10, 15 days.
Should we have acted decisively then, or is the present dispensation of a nature that is more in tune for taking decisive decisions? What would be your view on that?
Mine would be a one-word answer, and that is Balakot. Now draw your own conclusion.
Now that Rana is in India, the focus shifts to the line of questioning adopted with him, what he reveals about Pakistan's direct involvement, of which there is no doubt. Both India and the United States have repeatedly tried to pressure Pakistan into expediting the trial there against Hafiz Mohammed Saeed and Zakir Rahman Lakhvi for the 26/11 attacks. But clearly, there's been no willingness from Pakistan's end. However, Rana's questioning here and the trial will further shame Pakistan before the eyes of the world.